Good evening, my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. Listen, I know you are ready to get into tonight's discussion, so without pause, let's get to it. So, have you ever noticed the different choices for fashion when you travel? Have you ever wondered why someone chose a particular outfit that struck you as being odd? If that has ever happened to you, listen, you are not alone. As I travel to different places, I, like so many, take notice of the fashion in that area. You know, I am a lover of women's fashion, and I'm always in awe of the differences in fashion from the place in which I reside. And so that led me to research this issue after a recent trip to Miami, where the fashion was sometimes fabulous and at other times horrendous. That's right, even in Miami. On tonight, based on my research, I am going to give you five reasons why fashion for modern women differs around the world. That's right. Again, I say, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why fashion for modern women differs around the world. And see, I want you to share if you agree with those 5. And if you don't, I simply want to know why. So you don't want to miss tonight's discussion. So let's get ready to take this journey together. So go ahead and grab your favorite beverage, and we will be right back after this. Are you ready, AB? All right. Let's get it. Hit it. Yeah, in the building. All right. Again, thank you for joining us. And I'm glad that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation. So as I stated in my monologue, during my recent travels to Miami, which in fact was during what is known as Art Basel, I noticed some magnificent choices in fashion from those who attended, and especially attention to the fashion of the modern women. Now, don't get me wrong, because I know what you're thinking. How can a man in Miami keep his attention on the clothing and not the bikinis? Well, I'm glad you asked, because that may be a challenge for some. But for those of us who love fashion, it is simply not much of a challenge. Because when we look at anyone, what we see first and foremost is what they're wearing, and listen, how they are wearing it. That's right. But listen, are you guys familiar with Art Basel? For those of you who are not, Art Basel is a for-profit, privately owned and managed international art fair staged annually in Basel, Switzerland, Miami Beach, Florida, and even in Hong Kong. So Art Basel works in collaboration with the host city's local institutions to help grow and develop art programs. So while Art Basel provides a platform for galleries to show and to sell their work to buyers, it has also gained a large international audience of art spectators and students as well. So first of all, I want to take a look at some of the fashion during this year's event. And as you can tell, when you, of course, run into anything to do with art, then it's going to bring out the creative people that will come out to patronize or to attend the event. And so this is just one of the young ladies that was there at Art Basel this year. And you can tell she's very creative, even in her choice of attire. All right. Look. I mean, plain and simple, but it's Miami, right? Let me tell you, I don't want to make any of you jealous or envious, but the weather was in the high 70s, mid 80s the entire time, and it only showered on the day that I was leaving. How fortunate is that? So this is cool, calm, and collective. These young ladies are just hanging out at Art Basel 2021. Let's move on. Listen, again, I tell you that there are creatives that attend these types of events, the artistes, and sometimes their fashion may be off kilter a bit, but I'm telling you, it's fashion nonetheless. You'll probably wear something like that yourself. Just a different look, hanging out in the design district, of course, by Louis Vuitton store. Didn't go in it, but hey, it's a great store. And this little fashionista there as well, attending Art Basel. Listen, I want to share with you, if you ever get a chance to go to Art Basel or go to Miami during that time, I recommend just going there and hanging out, check out some of the events, but go see the art. The art is fantastic. And this young lady, look, I don't know if you noticed or not, but she doesn't have matching shoes on. I thought that was cute, right? I mean, hey, it all goes along with the camo look, the collaboration. It looks fantastic. One more. Now, you may know this young lady. This is the model, Winnie Harlow. Yes. And I'm telling you, a very nice person, very nice person. And look, I tell you, everyone is there to have a great time. And if you took that same trip, I guarantee that you too will have a great time. But not only did I capture some of the people, but here are two pieces of art, and we're going to go one at a time, from the event as well, taken by yours truly. That's right, I took this picture. Listen, I want you to tell me in the chat, do you know who this person is? Do you know? Listen, do you ever wish, I mean, maybe it's just me, do you ever wish you were famous enough that someone would paint your picture and call it art? That's what happened to a young lady, first name Mona, last name Lisa. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's what happened. Okay. But look, do you know who that is? Let me put it in the chat. Let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. Do you know who that is? I'll give you a hint. Jesus walks. Yep, that's it. That's it. Some of you already guessed it. Kanye is in the building. Yeah, I mean, get it. Someone thought so much of Kanye West to take their time and their artistic talent to paint his portrait. Wow. So let's look at another piece. Now, I want to ask you something. What does this particular piece say to you? I mean, art is subject to interpretation. So what does this particular piece say to you? I want you to put your answer in the chat. All right? Now, while I was there, as I mentioned earlier, I could not but help consider the different looks of the women that I saw, And you know what? That led me to consider the different looks of the people in the other cities that I recently traveled as well. And then that, of course, led me to research, as I always do when I have a question that needs an answer. And then, of course, that led me to share my newfound answers with my beautiful butterflies and fly guys right here on He Spoke Fashion. Now, to all those watching, I want you to consider something really quick, and that is the fact that one of my favorite pastimes is what I call people watching. Let me know if this is something in which you are familiar. Give me a thumbs up if you are in the chat. If you're familiar with people watching, give me a thumbs up. So for those of you who don't, who aren't familiar with it, people watching, oddly enough, is simply the action or practice of spending time idly observing people in a public place. I want you to know that this is something that my mother and I would do when she was taking a break from shopping in the mall. And those of you that know my mother, you know that she would love to shop, and she would spend countless hours in the mall. And when I was there, I would simply spend that time in the mall with her. And we would just sit and take note of what the people we saw wore as they perused their favorite stores. The joy that it would bring many was something also that we often notice, especially during this time of the year. Those were some fun times, and although my mother is no longer here to do so with me, I still carry this pastime on even today. So while traveling and doing plenty of people watching, I noticed something spectacular. And that was that although there are some trendy, fashionable items that many may wear, each city had their own special style and fashion. And that is why tonight on He Spoke Fashion, I am sharing 5 reasons why fashion for modern women differs around the world. For this edition, we will look at 4 cities for this case study. All right, just 4. So let's begin tonight's journey by looking at the fashion of modern women in Miami, shall we? As you can guess, the style and fashion sense of most modern women in Miami is hot, sexy, and full of energy. That's right. Full of energy. And of course, the vibrant colors signify that that is Miami. Let's look at another. And I just love the way that this pair of pants, the way that it flows. I'm telling you, sometimes the fit of the pants really, the flow of them just makes the difference. That's why you need to invest in a good tailor. Sidebar. All right, number 3, let's look at this photo. And again, full of energy. This young lady looks like she's getting ready to have a great time. She's hot, sexy, and again, full of energy. I like the look of Miami. Let's go to another one. And simply, guess what? As I told you before, I alluded to this before, the temperature, the weather was perfect. Even in December, we had 80 to 85 degree weather there in Miami. Yes. And so you'll see this type of attire very fitting while in Miami all year round. What'd you say, fellas? You ready to take a trip to Miami?
Oh, yeah!
Not Miami, but Miami. All right. One more. And again. And I would say that this would be fitting night on the town with your girlfriends, or even out on a date. And look, keep it sexy, but keep it classy. Keep it classy. Well, like I said, there were some outfits that were fabulous, and there were those that were horrendous, atrocious. And maybe just for me, because I just don't like to see booty cheeks in a restaurant. Did I say that?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just sorry. I just don't like to see it. I'm eating. I don't want to see it. But nevertheless, it was Miami. Shout out to Miami. And listen, shout out to Peter Thomas at Bar One. Excellent host there for brunch. Listen, if you're in the Miami area, take your trip. Listen, Peter Thomas, you know who Peter Thomas is, right? From Real Housewives of Atlanta. His business is doing quite well. And one thing I did notice, Sunday appears to be for brunch. It appears to be something that they're doing now in Miami, and they're having what I would consider these gatherings. I would call them a meetup. I wouldn't say too much day party as I would say a meetup, right? You just, everybody says, hey, we're meeting up at this restaurant at this time. Back in the day, we used to do it with TGI Fridays or Red Lobster. Now they're doing it on Sunday. Listen, go to church first. Go to church first. And then go have brunch at a nice venue. So again, shout out to Bar One in Miami. Peter Thomas is the owner, the proprietor of that business. Go patronize him if you're in the area. All right, now I think we're ready. So that was Miami. So when you travel to Miami, let me ask this question. Do you find yourself trying to fit in with the locals, or do you stay true to the fashion from where you live? I, for one, say as the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Did y'all know that was in the book of Proverbs? No, I'm kidding. It was Proverbs. Now, listen, that may not fit your fancy, and you might wear your Timberlands out on South Beach. And listen, if that's you, do your thing, boo. But I find it fascinating that there are so many who won't try new things when it comes to fashion. You see, for me, fashion gives you an opportunity to express yourself like no other. Do you ever find yourself playing dress up before you travel to certain locations? Do you pick out your travel wear based on where you're going, what you're going to do when you get there, or simply based on what you have in your closet? I, for one, attempt to find outfits that would be appropriate for the occasion, as well as those that are indicative of where I am going. Do you do that? What's your thing? What do you do? How do you pack? Yes, good one, AB. How do you pack? Let me know in the chat. What do you do? Do you base it on where you're going, what you're going to do when you get there, or simply what I have in my closet? Or, that's a good one. Like myself, do you just take the whole closet and put it in the suitcase?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's how some of us pack, right? So listen, next on our list, we've gone to Miami. Next on our list, we have the Big Apple, New York, New York. All right? What does the songwriter say? In New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in New York. These streets will make you feel brand new. Big lights will inspire you. Hear it for New York. Oh, in the words of the great Alicia Keys. That's right. New York, state of mind, baby. New York in the building. All right. Yeah. So let's look at this first fit from New York. Okay. This is wonderful. Of course, I like the hair. I like the hair. It's big, but I like it. I like it, and I just like this look. It's just classy. A typical New Yorker minding her business, doing her thing. All right. You know the liberty that comes with the New Yorker, the attitude, right? It's like it's me against the world. Dana Boots for girl now. Yeah, okay, just a cool look, you know? I'm saying, I don't know if that might be what was that, a boa? I mean, hey, but of course, New York is what it is, right? Shout out to the New Yorkers. I mean, look at the sunnies, the glasses, the glasses, all right? She's the eyewear with the boa. I mean, she's rocking that. Yeah, I give it to her, all right? Like I said, the attitude, but look, I mean, personally, it's the shoes. It's the shoes. It's gotta be the shoes, right? You gotta get you some shoes that, you know, if I were to see this young lady walking, maybe on Fifth Avenue or Madison Avenue, I mean, you know, maybe in the meatpacking district. Yeah, the meatpacking district, if I saw walking, I would be totally looking at the shoes. Look, if you like those shoes, give us some thumbs up. Give us some hearts in the chat. If you like those shoes, give us some thumbs up or some hearts. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Listen, I don't know if this was Pride Week or not because of the flag pants, but I would tell you that those pants are phenomenal. I love them. And look, I even like the way the top and the pants are high-waisted and kind of bell at the bottom. I love it. I love it. But I'm telling you, when you come to New York, the fashion is, I would say, different. It is very eclectic, and those things. I mean, it's just phenomenal. Yes, avant-garde. Yes. I like it. Let's go on to another. And listen, coming from work, getting out the subway, you know, but you look, I mean, fashionable. See, I mean, you know, you don't see the bonnet. Okay, I'm just taking a shot at, you know, shots fired over at the bonnet wears. But listen, I mean, look, you're going to work or you're going to play. And here she is coming out of the subway and she looks wonderful. This is what fashion like. Listen, fellas, to my fly guys, you may want to take you a trip to New York. That's right. All right, just some simple, you know, hanging out, summertime, and this is just a perfect fit for that. As you can see, not as colorful, right? As we would see maybe the same type of outfit, but in Miami, right? Because colors matter in Miami. In the state of Florida, colors matter. All right. Look, I mean, I like the color blocking that she's doing there with the jacket, but this is a nice ensemble. All right, move on. I think this the last one. Okay, this look is, what would I say about this look? What would you say about it? Let me hear from you in the chat. I mean, listen, the slippers that she has on with the fur in them. And look, I like the look, okay? I like the look. And look at the little cute bag there. Oh, look at that little bag. Isn't that cute? I mean, if I saw her walk with that tiny bag, that would be a conversation piece for me. Like, where did you get that little bag from? Did you take it from your daughter? Just kidding. But look, I like the hat. I like the bag. I like the look. The slippers are cool. Nice look. It's New York, baby. Now, this isn't something that I would say you will only find in New York, right? I would say that you would probably find this look almost anywhere, right? But I think what the difference would be the confidence of the New Yorker wearing this outfit. You know, while everywhere else that you would go, the young lady would probably be trying to pull the skirt down every time she walked, but not in New York. It's the boldness, baby. You know, the typical New York, the typical New Yorker. She has a sense of confidence and boldness that I believe that most men like. Now, not overconfidence, not arrogance, but confident and boldness. Not meanness, but boldness. There is a difference. That's right. There is a difference. And let me say that. Let me put a pin there. Listen, one thing that I want to say, while I have traveled Houston, Miami, New York, all of these places here in the last few weeks, I will say this, that their attitudes match their outfits. Fellas, and my fly guys, help me out here. Have you ever approached a young lady who the outfit was, wonderful, it was amazing, but her personality was not? So here's my help right here. Make sure that your attitude and your personality match. See, in Miami, where you're wearing all these beautiful, vibrant colors, your attitude and personality should not be nasty. But it should be something that matches that fit. Jovial. Keep that, and let's move on. All right. So, I must admit, New York fashion, it just simply has so much to offer. And I find it contagious. Let me quantify that statement. Do you all remember when you would visit New York, and when you returned home, not only did you dress with a bit of that New York swag and drip, but you also had a different accent than when you left?
Bruh.
Or was that just AB? AB comes back, she just talks so different, But next we have none other than the chocolate city itself. That is Washington, D.C. Wait. Do they call D.C. the chocolate city? Help me out. Do they call it the chocolate city? I don't know. All right, so D.C. is in the building. Let's show that D.C. fit. I like the D.C. look because it's always kind of refreshing, fly, but they don't do a lot of overkill in D.C. They like to keep it simple with the fashion, as we'll see in these next few photos. Now, that looks like a singing group. But I like the look. As you see, there's not a lot of jewelry there. Very, very simple. Very simple. Let's move on. Now, even though they're rocking the colors here, but as you can tell, when you look at these photos, and this group in particular, they just had a nice day of shopping, but they're dressed like they were going somewhere. See, that's what I want to re-emphasize that. I know I've said it time and time again, but fashion gives you an advantage. And you know what? You never know who's watching. You never know. You're just going to the mall to do some shopping. There's someone there watching you, ready to offer you a job, modeling gig, maybe someone who you just caught their eye. And guess what? They caught your eye too. Could be a match made in heaven. You didn't take advantage of the fashion. They think you're a hobo now. They move on. What's wrong with you, woman?
Bruh.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Like I said, this is nice and simple, but check out those bags, those handbags. I mean, is that a different look or what? I'm telling you, I like it. I like it. And you know me, I'm one of those, if I have 10 things that look the same, I'm always looking for the next different one, right? The different ones make a difference, right? Let's move on. And look, this look, I would say you would find this in a lot of places. But I love the shoes. I love the shoes. Those are hot. And then look, that may be a Chanel bag or not. But I noticed in DC, they love luxury. They love luxury. And so you'll find most of the time, the modern women are wearing the luxury brands. Sometimes they're not as gaudy as some other places. They don't have to have the label and show it, but you know the quality. And so you know that it's a luxury item. Let's look at the last one here. Plain and simple, but you know what? I like the look. I like, of course, I'm not a shoe person, but sometimes the shoes do it for me. Look, are you a shoe person? If you're a shoe person, put a 1 in the chat. If you're a shoe person. If shoes are your thing, let's put a 1 in the chat. So what can I say about DC? I mean, I really love the fashion of the modern women in DC. And if you're from DC, let me hear you in the chat. Let me hear from you in the chat. Shout out DC in the chat. So the women of DC, they really know how to rock an outfit. I remember back in my college days, you could tell a woman was from DC, not only linguistically, but also from her sense of fashion. Whether she capped her outfit off with some riding boots or some K-Swiss sneakers, she was gonna kill it. Wait, did I just say K-Swiss? Do they even make those anymore? I don't know. I don't know. When the last time you had a pair of K-Swiss, AB? I don't know. Okay, lastly, let's go to the city of Atlanta. Welcome to Atlanta, baby. All right, in the ATL, listen, I like this outfit. What can I say? I mean, definitely a great look. I love the colors. And, I know Atlanta is the strip club capital of the world, but you all don't have to dress like And I like the look here listen, keep it classy. Whatever you do, wherever you're from, wherever you're going, keep it classy. If you agree with me, give me some thumbs up in the chat. Just keep it classy. Let's move on to the next photo. And look, I mean, this is a big thing, right? Because more and more, even the luxury brands are going to the sneakers. And so you can get a nice fit. I like the camo look, and even matching with the baseball cap, not a bonnet. See, guess what? You can even wear a cap, a baseball cap. Yeah, you got a bad hair day, throw a fitted cap on it and on your head, and it looks fine. My fly guys, if you like this look, I mean, listen, just a young lady who knows how to mix it up, go ahead and put it in the chat. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you like that. Jonathan Campbell, Yeezy, yes, that was Kanye in that painting. Someone did a great job because you can recognize it, right? I don't know if I painted him, I don't know if it would look like Kanye or not. Again, a very different look. And I find this interesting because I made note of this in New York. But even in Atlanta, they have, very creative people there. And it's interesting to find those unique personalities, like this young lady here, and not afraid to walk in her own truth and in her own fashion. Let's move on. Come on. You guys know who this group is. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Now, I know some of you may be too young to remember this group, but their fashion sense from Atlanta influenced many young women back in the day. That's right,
yeah.
TLC. That's right. I think we have one more. Yes. Very classy, elegant even. That's what I like. I like to see people not afraid to be elegant, not afraid to go against the grain and keep it classy. Hey, it may be difficult in the strip club capital of the world, but yet and still we have it here. So listen, now that we have viewed some of the different fashions from modern women in these areas, let's look at the why. That is our topic of discussion for tonight. 5 reasons why fashion for modern women differs from around the world. So let's look at those 5 reasons why fashion for modern women differs around the world. Hold up. Stop the show. Excuse me for interrupting your viewing pleasure. But listen, guys, we're almost at the end of the show. And again, I haven't even asked you once to do this. But if you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button down below. And listen, if you're watching on Facebook, could you please hit like? Hit like. So y'all are real stingy with the likes too. Now back to the show. Here is reason number 1. Yes. Reason number 1 is simply this: the climate. That's right. As most of you may have already guessed, climate is important when considering fashion. But I want to suggest to you that it is not the end-all meets all. How many of you will agree that sometimes it does not matter what the conditions are when you want to wear a particular fit? You're going to wear it no matter what. That's right. I don't care if it's hot outside, if I want to wear my leather jacket. Y'all can call the mental institution later. I'm going to wear it. That's right. The climate matters, but it is not the end all meets all. But let's go to reason number 2. And that is simply location. Now, location matters not only in business, but also in fashion. And listen, I hate to say this and be the bearer of bad news, but there are just some cities that are simply not known for fashion. Have you ever visited such a place? Do you live in such a place? Okay. What I mean is that there are some cities like Miami, New York, LA, and the like that are known for being very fashionable cities, not because of the fashion houses, but simply because of the fashion of the people. But there are others that I would call simply t-shirt and flip-flop cities that are simply not. So location, say it with me, location. matters. And that's why fashion for modern women is different in those areas. Reason number three is simple, but it's regional cultures. All right. Now this is one that many of you may not have considered, and that is simply because everyone in your city is related. No, I'm just kidding. But there are some cities that simply do not have an influx of different cultures. Therefore, they would not have any regional cultural fashion differences. But in such cities where there are different cultures that exist, then you will see in the fashion of the modern women of that culture. See, I have seen some of the most fashionable Muslim and Hindu women in those cities. How about you? Do you take notice of them? Yes, I would agree. All right, reason number four. Reason number four is simply availability. That's right. This may or may not surprise you, but let me share this with you. Sometimes merchandise is allocated differently by fashion houses based on the region, the volume, and top sellers. You may not even realize this, but that is why there's always a chance that one-of-a-kind item that you purchase locally might just be seen on your best friend when you go out, or even worse, your arch nemesis. That is why it is good to sometimes purchase things when you travel to those cities, or better yet, simply use the internet to shop. That's right, because availability. Sometimes they're not sending it your way because it's not a top seller in your region. Availability. AB has had a great question. Even your favorite franchise stores, they have a DOS store, Macy's in this location and in this city. Those what they call buyers and allocators, retail allocators. So the buyers, what they do is they look at those regions, they look at their numbers, they look at what is popular, what is a top seller in one area versus the next. And then they have their retail allocators allocate product, merchandise to those locations based on those things. There's also this thing, and I hate to say it, that your purchasing power, your buying power is important. And so if you don't have in a certain city, there's not a lot of buying power for instance, for luxury items. There may not even be a luxury item store in that city. It's all about availability. I remember growing up, there were a lot of things that we couldn't get. Unfortunately, the internet wasn't around yet. So we just had to visit those cities and then purchase it in that city and take it home. And we will be the freshest person in school that next week. All right, reason number 5. And that is simply the environment. The environment is also a contributing factor when it comes to why fashion for modern women differs around the world. I want you to understand that the environment is important. And there are some fashion houses, you call them brands, that are paying more attention to the environment than others. Now, I will make a special note here to say that many of the luxury brands that are out there are taking our environment seriously, and they are implementing certain guidelines for any vendors who simply want to partner with them in terms of what they are doing to protect the environment. And that is why I not only love many of those same luxury brands, but I respect them for what they are trying to do, even when no one is requiring this of them. So listen, if your city does not have any of these luxury brands, then perhaps your fashion may differ. All right? Listen, it just goes by so fast. I have really and truly enjoyed you all on tonight. My guest there, my co-host there in the chat. I've really enjoyed you, and I hope that you have enjoyed this discussion. I'm coming to the end, but before I go, I want to leave you with this final thought. I was having a great conversation with a couple while visiting Miami. Shout out to Ryan and Tina from Philly. And one of the topics we expressed was similar to the one that I just mentioned concerning the environment. I expressed the fact that the more you know about a company, the better off you are. And I would say that goes to say for just about anything. So as you enjoy this Christmas season, I want you to take the time to better acquaint yourself with some of the brands that you patronize. And I bet you will be amazed by some of the things that you find. All right? That's all I have for you tonight. I really enjoyed myself, but I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and I want you to remember that he spoke fashion to you. See you next week. Hope you will join us then. Good night. Yeah, in the building.